views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll sit down with Bronx-born cartoonist Ivan Velez to learn about his new exhibit at the Bronx Museum of the Arts. And after that, we're joined by the creator of Fit Match, an app that connects you with workout buddies in your area. And then we'll go out in the open to take an exclusive look at a studio session with singer-songwriter Lorena. And later on in the show, Bobby C brings us up to date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And finally, we'll learn about a tasty tour where you will eat your way through some of the rich history of the Lower East Side, or the Lower West Side, I should say. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is coming your way because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online. That's right, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Insta Stories at Rina Valentin. All right, our first guest this week is an iconic cartoonist who hails from right here in the Boogie Town Bronx. And his work includes highlighting groundbreaking LGBTQ youth issues during the AIDS crisis, writing for mainstream comic book companies like DC Comics, Marvel, and Milestone Media, as well as some of his own publishings. From now until October 22nd, the Bronx Museum will exhibit work from his 30-year career, that's a long time, that includes a series of comic-related drawings and his activist work. Joining us now to share more, we welcome cartoonist and educator Ivan Velez.
How you doing?
Hello and welcome, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
And, you know, let's just really dive right into your work and what inspired this from the get and what year this all came into fruition.
Well, it's mostly because when I was a little kid, there were no characters of color, no superheroes of color, and that made me feel kind of lonely and kind of like invisible from everything else. So when I started growing up and started drawing myself, because I was really obsessed with comics, like in like a crazy way, I decided to try to put just characters of color and try to get into the mainstream and do it, and I did, and I'm very proud of that.
So what year are we talking about?
Wow, I think my first published works besides college was maybe '83 when I did Tales of the Closet for the Hedrick Martin Institute. That went to all the high schools. It was part of the multicultural initiative. And because of Tales of the Closet, which is a comic book about gay teenagers in New York and their issues and their fears and isolation, and particularly the fears of AIDS back in the day. Because of that, I got work at Milestone Media, which is a part of DC Comics back then, and eventually Marvel, writing Ghost Rider for a few years.
So how challenging was it for you during that era where it wasn't as, you know, spoken? It was almost like taboo to talk about AIDS and even being gay.
It was pretty horrible. Back then, they didn't consider that teenagers had their own sexuality orientation. They thought like they were recruited into like negative behavior. And that was the education we had to give people. It was very hard. A lot of the high schools were resistant at first, but then all of a sudden, the flooddoors opened and people started accepting more, especially since it was becoming part of the TV and the media. I would say it was even harder to get characters of color, and I was so lucky to work with Milestone Media that they had a mission to create superheroes of color. I was lucky to get in the ground floor and do their team book syndicate, which I'm very proud of. That we can add characters of color, even Latinos of different shades, of different nationalities, because you know, Latinos are not just one thing.
Well, we're the rainbow people.
That's right.
I've always said we're the original rainbow people.
But we were also lucky to put in different orientations and different genders and intergender and you know, transgender. And we were like a really groundbreaking company back then. And yeah.
I mean, it's still this.
In the 90s.
And it says, I know, I'm saying this is a while ago.
Yeah.
And so back then, I can only imagine like all the waters you were ruffling.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. And I think that kind of led to kind of like a little bit of the heat that I got when I started working for the mainstream companies. It wasn't very happy. It was kind of a lonely time there. No real support. But after that, I started teaching because, you know, there was a mission, right?
Right.
Most of the mainstream comic book companies are very, 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 very one-sided and one point of view, and not really 99% missing diversity. So that was my mission, to try to teach these kids to get in there and break the doors down and do their own stuff and kind of give them a little bit more power what to choose too, because a lot of the choices were kind of like running the market.
And you know, it's interesting because when you think of comic books, you think of just, you know, some form of entertainment, but your style has edutainment in it. And right, well, and that's another factor that really needs to be addressed here, because that also could be challenging in the commercial market.
Right. Well, you know, if my point of view was like, I try to make the characters as real as possible, and people have issues, and people can work with the issues, and people can work with issues in funny, exciting, dramatic ways. They don't have to be just like those basic like villain fights a hero and they break a lot of stuff down and then that's the end of the story. I wanted to go deep and try to do it with personalities, and that's one of the earmarks of my work, which I kind of really get in there and make them really human. So I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, no, we're very proud of you, and we're very grateful to you for coming back home and bringing it back to our youth over here.
Well, you know, I never left.
Right. Well, the thing about it is that you go, you deal with the commercial market. You can very easily get jaded and just go for the money, or you can kind of find a way to make sure that you pay it forward. And obviously, you're paying it forward, and we acknowledge you for that. And we thank you for being here on Open and sharing it with our viewers. And let's talk a little bit about what we have here on the desk.
Oh, this is like Tales of the Closet, which is that book I told you about. 30 years old is this story. This is like one of the first 3 issues. I'm trying to finish this work. Believe it or not, this work is still not finished. The last chapter, people have been bugging me for years, and I am working on this last chapter, and I promise you by Christmas it will be done. I also got a grant from Creative Capital. I'm doing my own series of characters of color, doing like a history of the people of color in America, but using the whole superhero kind of style. And that is basically my life work right now. So I'm very happy with that. And this is
congratulations
kind of the old stuff.
on that.
Thank you, thank you.
And this is,
you know, Ghost Rider, Blessiniki, Holocaust.
Look, he's just like, oh, you know, this is just stuff, you know, just stuff. This is all, you know, the stuff that we do.
Well,
and what's this? Were you a ghostwriter?
No, this is actually Pop-Up Girl. You know, like there's a lot of licensed marketing for the comics. I used to do like Pop-Up Girl, Ben 10, Scooby-Doo, that kind of stuff. So that was kind of the stuff that I started doing when I couldn't find superhero work anymore, because a lot of those got closed after I finished Ghost Rider, and that's like a whole other story. Maybe I'll write a book about that, but that's part of my work.
So, but where can people get your work?
Well, online. I have a website, www.planetbronx.com. They can go to the museum and check out the stuff there. I'll have some stuff on sale. And plus, I'm one of those guys who's kind of like, you go on Google and my stuff will be there, and you have to kind of shop for me. But I'm trying to put my new stuff out there, and I'm trying to really target next year as the year I put this stuff out.
Yeah, but the beauty is that you're being exhibited at the Bronx Museum, so people can actually get feel your work, right? Because once you see it on display, it's like a whole nother vibe. And so, what should people expect when they go to the Bronx Museum? Like, what do you have up there?
Well, I have like they let me draw on the walls, which is like
they let you draw on the walls.
They let me draw on the walls.
Oh my
I'm very
gosh!
happy with that.
Look how excited
I know.
you
I was like, I got in a little trouble for it, but it looks beautiful. I did like basically a timeline of my characters. Up to like Blood Syndicate, even the characters stuff and down. We have what do you call it? Someone sewed a cape and costume of one of my characters, America, that I'm very proud of. And I have murals and I have a lot of cartoons and stuff. It's a pretty good show. I have the whole back gallery. So if you guys want to come up there and check it out.
It's going to be on display till October.
Till October 22nd.
That's amazing. That's a long display.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very
Congratulations. Also, you have workshops. Let's talk about how you recruit the next generation for workshops.
So if anybody's interested in my workshop, I teach little kids, I teach teenagers, and we're trying to do like adult classes soon. I usually get them to the grants, to the Bronx Council on the Arts, the Art Fund grant, the Community Arts grant. You can go on Bronx Museum. You can go to the Bronx Museum site and ask, link to me, or you can go to my website, planetbronx.com. Or if you're really interested in having your kids sign up for my program, which is free, by the way, you can go to the website schedule, or you can go to comicculturex@gmail.com.
This is such wonderful work you're doing, and
Oh,
we're
thank
so
you.
proud to be showing you off to our viewers. And just to be clear, I mean, this is for all kids, not just LGBTQ.
That's
However,
right.
that is your target market.
I even
because-
have drinking drawers for adults too, so please come by. You know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
nice.
should come and enjoy.
Right, because you know you already know, right?
Yeah. It's a sexy, fun time. So I think
Ooh,
you like
I
it.
like that. Your mama could take a break every now and then. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Ivan
You're
Velez
wonderful.
Jr. All right, be sure to check out Bronx Haiku. That's actually the name of the exhibit. It's on display now from now until October 22nd at the Bronx Museum of the Arts, located on 1040 Grand Concourse. And for more information, you can visit bronxmuseum.org/exhibitions. And for more on Ivan's work, visit planetbronx.com. We do have to take a quick break, but we'll have more open right after this.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. And don't forget to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rena Valentine. So, inquiring minds want to know, are you tired of your friends constantly flaking out on your plans to go work out? Do you wish to find a like-minded fitness buddy that shares your interests? Well, FitMatch is an app created by two-time Golden Glove winner who wanted to help his clients connect with other fitness enthusiasts and get motivated to work out. So joining us now to share more about the app, we welcome the founder and creator of FitMatch, Ngo Okafor.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. So let's talk a little bit about your background, because I mean, you've worked with like some celebrities. Yeah, I like doing a little name dropping. Let's do a little name dropping, because I read somewhere you worked with J-Lo.
Yes.
Who else you worked out with?
I've trained Naomi Campbell.
Naomi Campbell. How was that?
It was good. She
She followed your instructions?
She did. She did. She showed up on time. She worked hard, and she got. She did the work.
Some say she's a little challenging, but obviously you must have came in there with some authoritative type of energy, like you're gonna do this.
But she's a hard worker in life, and sometimes some people don't know how to handle a tough woman, and that's the problem sometimes. But for me, you come in, I'm a professional, you're a professional, we get to work. I'm not into, playing around. So we come in, we get to work, and we get results.
And so who else? One more name drop, and then we'll talk about your fabulous app concept. I think it's a great idea.
I'll tell you later.
Oh, all right. Oh, you guys gotta wait. You gotta wait. All right, good. We got a good surprise. Yeah. So, in your workout process, right? And you know what? I'm so one of these people, so I get it, right? And where it's just a lot more fun to have a workout buddy. Yes. And I also read that one of the biggest issues you have with your clients is that when they go away, the kind of workout regimen goes out the window.
Exactly.
So let's talk about FitMatch now and what inspired that.
Well, like you said, a lot of times my clients are on the go. They're very successful people, so have to travel all over the world. Sometimes they're, for example, like they go to London and they're in London for 2 weeks. The biggest reason why people don't work out or don't follow their workout regimen is motivation. They get there, they don't know anyone, they don't know where to go, so they're just like, well, I just focus on work, and when I come back, I'll pick it back up. They come back, we have to start back again. So I wanted to create a platform that, wherever they are, be it London, be it LA, New York, wherever they are, they can find someone who is of like mind, who's interested. They want to play tennis, they can find someone who wants to play tennis. If they want to lift weights or check out a spin class or a boot camp class, they can find someone who is interested in the same thing, who is from that area. So this person can now take them, they can connect, and then it can take them to experience these new fitness adventures.
That's pretty cool. So basically you get the app, right? Yes. And then the app, it has it's like it has a tracking device of some sort based on
your location,
fellow members of the app.
Yes.
And so if you're in another part of the world, it actually matches you up to somebody who's close by.
Exactly.
And or also gyms and things of that nature, so right? So how do they all become part of this whole? I guess it's like a community.
It is.
Yeah.
So when the app launches, as it is right now, it launches and it shows you the facilities in the area, like the gyms in the area. So now you look at what's close by, what's close to you, like using your location
yoga,
service.
like everything.
All fitness gyms, studios in your area, because it uses the location services on your phone. Right. So now, once you do that, then you select what activity you're interested in getting into, and then you find people who are, and then it matches you with people who are who want to do boxing or want to take a spin class or want to go running, and that's how we connect people.
So I guess my last question is, how do you qualify people in keeping it safe?
Well, there's a trust factor.
Right.
We just don't assume that anyone, because it's made for fitness, people who download the app, who actually take the action of downloading the app, are interested in fitness. And you're going to meet in a public place.
Right.
So that right there makes it safe for most people. And, we make sure that there's a multi-step setup for you to set up your profile. So you have to make sure you input 2 pictures, so it's not just some robot or someone sitting at home. And because it uses your location services on your phone, we know exactly where you are and where you're trying to connect with someone. So that's another level of safety. And you can block people too.
Right.
So if you get on the app and you see someone and you're like, they don't look too kosher for me, you can block them.
No, I have to ask, because there's a lot of people who have there's a name for it. I forgot what it's called, but it's like false identities online.
Yes.
Something fish they call it.
What's
the word? Oh my gosh, it's gonna come to me later.
It's gonna.
What is it?
Catfish. Yeah.
Thank you.
Catfish. Yes. A lot of people catfish. And we took that into consideration while we're building the app. We want to keep that to a minimum as much as possible. But of course, people are going to find ways to get around it, but we do our part to make sure that the app is safe, because a lot of my clients are women.
Right.
So I designed the app to be safe for my female clients.
Got it.
So
they have their buddy system, which is cool.
Yes.
I love it. I think it's a great concept. So is there any other components to it, like eating or dieting and things like that?
We're working on some new features that are going to come out at the end of July. Once those are out, we're going to have notifications that'll send out motivational quotes, inspirational quotes, nutrition tips, and you can actually go on and look up articles like a message board, and you can the message board. You can go on and type in something like, "Hey, I'm going to be looking to run in Central Park. Is anybody around, or anybody wants to go on for a run at 4 p.m.?" And then people are going to type in and chime in and say, "Hey, I can meet you," and that kind of thing. So it's about community, and then people can share their nutrition tips, nutrition ideas, or if somebody lost a lot of weight, they can share how they did it. Right. So like my vision is to create a community within the app where people can support each other and help each other get more fit.
Absolutely, and really it makes a huge difference. It's a world of a difference when you're speaking the language in which you're trying to, get to, right? Yes. Because it's always a work in progress as far as I'm concerned.
It is, always. It never, no matter what kind of shape you're in, it never stops. You have to continue to find new ways to challenge yourself, to push yourself, and having other people come in gives you a new dimension. So like you may have an idea that I don't have. Right. And I'll be like, "Oh wow, like I'll try your style and you try my style, and then we mix and create this thing."
And you as a boxer, you have to trick your body. So
yes. And your mind.
Right, especially, right? Yeah. And so where can people get the app? Is it available right now?
Yes, it is. The app is available in the App Store.
In the App Store?
Yes.
Any App Store,
yeah.
And it's just what is it? It's
FitMatch. Yeah, just
Fit
go
Match,
on,
not WeFit.
download FitMatch.
WeFitMatch.com
is the website.
Right.
FitMatch in the App Store. We're coming out with the Android version very soon.
Oh, nice.
Very soon.
For
now,
those left behind.
Yeah,
did I say that?
You said it. You said it, not me.
Okay, so they're wrapping us up, but I think that's very thoughtful of you.
Thank you.
So before we go, really quickly, because they're wrapping us up, who's that other person? You thought I was going to let you go. Who's that other person? Come on, give me a nice juicy name. You can't say?
Can't say. A lot of my clients are super high profile and very private.
I
know. I'll tell you off camera.
Off camera. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Maybe you can follow me on Snapchat for that one. All right. Once again, for more information on the FitMatch app, visit WeFitMatch.com, and of course, go to the App Store and just download. Right? Upload. Download. FitMatch.
Yes.
The app. That's it. All right. We're taking a quick break, but we'll be back with more Open when we return.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family, the first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
Welcome back to Open, everyone. Up and coming NYC singer-songwriter Lorena Vargas. She's a woman who's had dreams of making it big since the age of 7, and we go out into the open to learn about her passion and music and how she fell in love with the Big Apple.
Starting her career at the age of 7, Lorena won a talent contest in her home state of Alabama, launching her musical journey that eventually brought her right here to the Big Apple.
It was definitely a big push. I was already singing like karaoke. I was already singing all around the house and writing my own music over Britney Spears out like CDs and stuff. But it was definitely a big push to get over stage fright and really to show myself that I could sing in front of a lot of people with no problem. I wanted to move either to California or New York, and I visited New York December of 2013 maybe. I fell in love. I was only here for 4 days. I fell in love and I flew back home, and within 20 days I was already moving all my stuff up here. I had sublet an apartment and everything. The city is magical, and there's so many people here that are playing music, and in this small town where I'm from there was nobody.
Once in the city, Lorena took a job that would guide her to the next step in her music career and her partnership with another talented musician.
To pursue my career, I got a job at Avatar Studios as a receptionist. That was my dad's crazy idea. He would always tell me to go anywhere where there was music. So even if you had to scrub toilets, if you had to sweep the floor, anything that you had to do just to meet people. And actually that paid off a lot.
I was working for one of the in-house producers, and I just saw her working at the reception, right? Talking about music really happened when she saw my video on YouTube and she decided to write a song on top.
When writing her EP, Lorena took inspiration from the music around her. Just from hearing record, she began her process understanding the in-the-moment technique of songwriting.
So our first EP is coming out June 30th. It's called Call Me. A lot of the songs I wrote when I still lived in Florida in my room. A couple of them are a collaboration between Ron Mukherjee and I, and Andres Marin and I. We recorded with Tony Black and at his studio and some at Avatar Studios.
Help me, I lost my words. Every time you come around, I never know what to say to you. My manners are gone, my senses were drawn at the thought of you. I forget the things I thought I knew because of you. Help me, I can't stand still.
I like to keep it very natural, so very similar to the song Where You Are. The minute that I hear a chord, some colors, something that inspires me, I record it right away. So I write in the moment. I try not to go back and edit because then I feel like it's very scripted. So I try to keep everything in the moment.
Tell me when you'll come back, 'cause I wanna be where you are. I wanna hold your hand through everything that hurts you, and I want you to be my man. Do you wanna be? Do you wanna be? Do you?
For Lorena, this is only the beginning of her musical journey and the first step in an already promising career.
We're having an EP release party July 1st at the Bowery Electric from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. And then I'm planning a small little tour throughout the East Coast, so definitely be on the lookout for that.
With the perfect blend of truthful lyrics and emotional sound, Lorena and her band captivate their audience, while holding on to her originality which she developed when she first stepped on stage.
So actually, let me tell you a little story. Yesterday we did an outside gig in Brooklyn And there was a woman who I saw, and you know how you can make a little connection while you're singing with somebody in the audience? She came up to me afterwards and told me that she had heard my voice while she was at home on her little rooftop just hanging out. She heard my voice and she knew she had to come over here. She was having a really bad day. She didn't want to see anybody, but she just felt a need to come out to to see what was going on downstairs. And that is literally why I do music. That's why I love to sing. I love to connect with people and especially bring somebody out of maybe a little gloom or a little sadness. You know, there's like a different connection that you have through music than anything else.
For more on Lorena and her band, check out www.lorenamusic.com. I'm Maria Batista, reporting for BronxNet.
In this haze, I can't help it. You got me up in space. Yeah, you got me all lost. Yeah, it's you got me all lost. You got me flying. You got me flying. You got me flying. I'm in love with you. Help me, I thought I knew how to move, but it turns out I don't know how to dance anymore. Do you move everything? Do you hide what I was fearing? Do you stop the world from turning? Yeah, it's you who's got me in this haze. I can't help it. You got me up in space. Yeah, you got me all lost. Yeah, it's you got me all lost. You've got me flying. You got me flying. You got me flying. I'm in love with you. You got me flying. You got me flying. You got me flying. I'm in love with you. I don't wanna fall in love. I wanna fly in love. I don't wanna fall in love anymore.
And thank you, Marivid. We are taking a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Bobby C's weekly sports roundup is coming up next.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on a sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that. Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
This is Bobby C. reporting from the big ballpark in the Bronx, where our BronxNet cameras will take a stroll down memory lane with the Yankee legends on Old Timers Day. Jorge, as someone that elected to not play beyond the pinstripes, you know, how important is tradition to you in being part of this Yankee culture?
It's the best organization in the world. You know, they treated me real well, and when it was time for me to decide to, you know, play with another team or stay a Yankee, I wanted to stay a Yankee.
How much do you enjoy putting the pinstripes back on?
Best weekend of the year. I mean, we get to come back into it. You know what? I used to hate shagging when I played. Now it's not long enough. You know, I get to be on the field, put this uniform back on in front of all these amazing fans. It's the best weekend.
We're very privileged, honored. You know, been here since Thursday. Met a lot of people. I'd probably give an arm and a leg to be out in our position, and fans have been great. I don't know how much we'll entertain them today, but the goal is to get everybody out here. It's a beautiful day, and we're just, it's a privilege to be on this field.
You know, I'm one of the younger guys here, so I sit back, just laugh and listen. Some of these stories are unbelievable, incredible. And I'm just glad to be here. The camaraderie is amazing. And, you know, I'm like a kid in a candy store right now.
That's great. That's great. We get a chance to do the actual play-by-play of the game after they are introduced on the field to the adoring fans here at Yankee Stadium. And then the fact that they play a game, a lot of guys still are competitive and want to get out there and beat the heck out of the other side, so it's going to be fun.
Goose, you're part of the most special fraternity there is of being a Hall of Famer. What does being part of this Yankee tradition mean to you?
You know, playing my 6 years here and winning a world championship here and doing a lot of the great things. Growing up in Colorado, my mom and dad were all huge Yankee fans. I grew up a Yankee fan, and then getting to put the pinstripes on, I've always said it's like an out-of-body experience.
Old Timers Day is always special. Jorge Posada back for the first time. The Yankees also did a marvelous job in remembering our friend, the late, great Howard Golden, the former Bronx News and Latino sports reporter who passed away last July, was among those recognized during the ceremonies on the scoreboard. Howard, I know you were listening. Old Timers was always one of your faves. Michael Kay did a nice job calling out your name. As for the Pinstripers, they wrapped up their homestand last Sunday in the Bronx, dropping 2 of 3 to the Texas Rangers, including Sunday's 7-6 defeat on Old Timers Day. The Bombers bounced back Monday in a 6-5 victory against the White Sox in Chicago, but were edged 4-3 Tuesday before putting together a 12-3 win Wednesday in Chicago. Wednesday was highlighted by the call-up of rookie infielder Miguel Andujar, who racked up 3 hits, 4 RBIs and a stolen base in his debut. The 22-year-old's 4 RBIs set a record for a Yankee, making a major league debut. Billy Martin in 1950 and Marv Throneberry in 1955 each had 3 RBIs. But believe it or not, the injury-riddled Yanks sent Andujar down Thursday. They called up another top prospect and outfielder Dustin Fowler. The Yanks gave rookie sensation Aaron Judge a night off in right field and started Fowler in his place, with Judge DHing for Matt Holliday, who was put on the DL with a viral infection. Following a lengthy rain delay and what turned out to be a miserable rookie debut for Fowler, he suffered an open rupture of the patellar tendon and his right knee, crashing into the first base rail. The Yankees said he would undergo surgery at Chicago's Rush University Medical Center. The 22-year-old is another of the Yankees' long list of top prospects. A left-handed hitter, he batted .293 with 13 homers and 43 RBIs in 70 AAA games. He's done for the season, but typically an injury like this will take about 6 months for full recovery. I expect that we see Fowler at the start of spring training. The Yanks were then edged by the White Sox 4-3. They intentionally walked Judge in a big spot in the 7th and then struck him out in the 9th in another big spot. Former Yankee reliever David Robertson, now the White Sox closer, struck out Judge. The second-place Bombers are now a game back of Boston in the American League East. Things don't get any easier, too. The Yankees are off to Houston for the weekend. The Astros have 54 wins, the most in baseball. The Mets will be back in Flushing tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies. The club is 5-5 over their last 10 games. They wrapped up the road trip by going .500 and winning back-to-back in Miami, including a 6-3 victory on Thursday. Mets infielder Asdrubal Cabrera initially called for a trade when he learned that he would be playing second base upon his return from the disabled list in the absence of another injured Met, Neil Walker. Cabrera has since rescinded his trade request. Good thing, Saturday is his bobblehead day at Citi Field. Bellator 180 totally lived up to the hype as one of the most highly expected sporting events of the summer. The pay-per-view event, Bellator's MSG debut, rocked the world's most famous arena last Saturday night. The card had 3 championship bouts and was headlined by the grudge match between Chael Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva, which the American gangster Sonnen won in decision, and the matchup of heavyweights in the great Fedor and former New York Giant Matt Mitrione. The heavyweight showdown was a double knockout that Mitrione survived. Here's more from the Garden.
Fights. I think that when we put this fight card together, we talked about doing a fight card that has something for everybody, and I think that that's what we delivered tonight.
And, you know, I've worked hard too. I just haven't had quite the opportunities that others have. But I did get this opportunity, and I made it count. And I'm sure I spoiled some plans, and you know, I'm sure they'll be throwing some heavy hitters at me.
You know, I just wanted to. I felt like I could challenge myself, but hey, you make mistakes in life, and you know, it is what it is.
How much do-or-die pressure did you feel going into this fight with Wanderlei?
Well, I didn't feel any pressure, but I will concede to you that's a reality, man. You never know when it's your last fight. You know, there's an expression, you're never done with the business, but one day the business is going to be done with you, and that's just a reality. And the term fighter became corrupted. When I was a young man, a fighter was somebody that got up and did what they didn't want to do when the chips were down and it was hard. That's what a fighter did.
You know, how happy are you just to achieve this goal and, you know, remain undefeated?
On top of the world, man. It was great. I feel blessed, and I'm so lucky for them giving me the chance and getting in there and fighting with one of the best lightweights in the world, Michael Chandler, and it was an honor to throw some hands with that guy. And man, I'm on top of the world. I'm the lightweight world champion.
You've defeated a dangerous fighter, a guy who was probably ranked above you in these world rankings we talk about. So how do you feel about that accomplishment?
Feels good, you know, like you said, he's ranked top 7, top 5 in the world, and you know, I just beat him, beat him pretty soundly too, so hopefully now I get some respect, you know, that I belong here, I belong in the top 10, you know, I've always wanted tough fights like that.
Any feeling of feeling starstruck, like I'm really facing this guy? I mean, did that ever come into play as far as you?
No, there was no, I wasn't starstruck at all, but he's really, really good. He is easily the best person I've ever fought.
So the question was how Fedor was feeling after the fight. So Fedor's feeling, well, I'm feeling myself very good. So I just got the doctor's inspection, so everything was good.
To be Madison Square Garden and have a big fight, I mean, there's some extremely talented fighters and some, you know, there's some talent up here. I mean, I've been around this fight business a long time, and there's some talent in that room tonight, and they gave it their all. So extremely proud of these guys, and I thought the media, thank you guys. You guys covered us extremely well all, you know, for the whole week and leading up to the fight. I think this is the most coverage we've ever had for an event, and this is the one to do it.
Earlier in the evening, the Bronx's own Jerome Mickle, who we saw on the subway in the days leading up to his big MMA fight at the Garden, fell via a rear naked choke for submission. Mickle performed well despite the outcome. He wasn't the only prospect to fall. Bellator NYC also featured the debut of MMA prospect Aaron Pico at lightweight against a much more experienced opponent at 8-2 in Zach Freeman. Freeman stunned Pico with a right-hand uppercut just 10 seconds into the fight, going for a submission immediately when Pico slumped, tapping out his opponent in just 24 seconds. Back to the drawing board for the 20-year-old Pico, and big ups for Freeman, a guy with a day job that got no love leading up to the matchup. Freeman is half Rocky, half Cinderella story, and what turned out to be a memorable evening at MSG. For more, visit bellator.spike.com. We'll have an expanded look, including some insider coverage of the media day and the weigh-ins on our next Sports NYC. New York City FC's victory over the Red Bulls on Saturday was significant as their first road win against their rivals. But last night's commanding result against expansion Minnesota United FC was equally impressive. One, for the comeback fashion, and two, it extended what is now a 4-match win streak on an evening when there was no letdown for NYCFC. We go inside the locker room for more. Jack, your go-ahead goal seemed to swing the momentum. You know, just talk about what you saw on that play and being able to not have a letdown after the Red Bull win.
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew it was important to come out again strongly into this game, and I think we were a little unfortunate not to get another goal in the first half. Thought we started off really well, and then coming out in the second half again, team just played so well as a team, and that's what happens. You know, you create chances, and we were able to get a goal and another one after that.
How important was it to come out tonight and to not have that letdown after having such a big victory against your rival?
We are so happy for the victory in Red Bull Arena for our fans, but we work this week for get the game in Red Bull and take the 3 points. That is the same important today than the last game. We are happy to get that.
A lot of teams start up hot, and then one bad result leads to another, and then that's what happens. That ends their season. I mean, thankfully we have a good chemistry right now, and we just got to keep this momentum going. And even if we do lose a game, we got to keep that record of not losing 2 in a row.
With the win, NYCFC 10-5-3, 33 points, moved to within 2 points of Eastern Conference leading Toronto and 1 point behind second place Chicago. They now get a 6-day break before a game at Vancouver. Time for some quick hitters. OKC's Russell Westbrook takes home the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award. Called it. The 28-year-old topped a group featuring former teammates James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron James, but it was not close, with Westbrook receiving 69 of 101 first-place votes. Harden 22, Leonard 9, and James 1. Phil Jackson's tenure in New York did not come close to a championship either. Jackson in the Knicks parted ways Wednesday. 3 years was enough, and apparently James Dolan seems to have sided with Carmelo Anthony. Anthony reportedly said he would waive his no trade to leave the Knicks. Rumors are swirling that several notable names like John Calipari are interested in the vacancy. In hockey, the New Jersey Devils took Nico Hischier and not Nolan Patrick, as I predicted with the #1 pick. Patrick instead went second to Philadelphia. As I mentioned, it was a stacked draft at the top. I believe both players will be worthy of the top 2 picks. I still think Patrick could be the better player, though. He's certainly more NHL ready at this point. The Rangers grabbed Lias Andersson at #7 following a deal with Arizona for the pick. Derek Stepan headlined that trade with the Coyotes. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a quick note on the Yankees. The baseball season, as they say, is a marathon, not a sprint. Yankees GM Brian Cashman finally has rebuilt the farm system to make moves and adjustments as the team has struggled in June. But lately, the Bombers are in a funk, and a lot has to do with injuries. You could see the same thing across town with injuries to the Mets. It has effectively put them in a position where they may have to consider things at the trade deadline and how they will position themselves for the remainder of the season. The Yankees lost Fowler Thursday night. Top prospect Gleyber Torres was lost for the season 2 weeks ago at AAA, sliding into home head first. Greg Bird was just transferred to the 60-day DL and might be lost for the season too. Another first baseman, Tyler Austin, returned from the DL and homered in Chicago, only to suffer a hamstring injury. He's now on the 10-day disabled list. Despite all of this, the Yanks are only a game back. The All-Star break is less than 2 weeks away, and Aaron Judge has 27 homers. Things haven't been great in June, aside from Judge, but with the break and perhaps some better luck in July, the Yanks should continue to stay in the thick of things. Cashman needs to evaluate the trade deadline as well. This weekend in Houston could dictate a lot. Hopefully the Yankees get some better breaks against the Astros. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
We are there, day one, with baby names and a gift that lasts a lifetime. We are there as you grow, protecting you and those you love. And we are there as you start your next chapter. We are with you through life's journey. We are Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. Get to know us at socialsecurity.gov.
This video produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. Secret Food Tours, New York. Have you heard of that? Well, it's a 3-hour tour through the streets of the East Side, the West East Side, right, where you will satisfy your taste buds and unlock some of New York City's secret food havens. And joining us now to share more, we welcome City Manager and Head Guide of Secret Food Tours New York, Bridget Kiesiginia.
Pretty good.
I almost
got it.
How do you say the last?
Bridget Kiesiginia.
Kiesiginia.
Yeah.
Kiesiginia.
Yes.
Kiesiginia.
Mm-hmm.
And so, welcome, Bridget.
Thank you.
And just because my daughter's here with us on set, and she kind of just bonded with you immediately. Let's just talk a little bit about how you were a teacher first, right? And now you're doing this. Before, just what led you into doing this?
Okay, I was a teacher for over 14 years, and I had always had this passion to tell people things about the city. It turns out my family's been here from 1653 till now, and because of that, I guess it was always in my blood or my DNA to love the city. And when I left my job due to scheduling conflicts, I went out, got my tour guide license, and I started from there.
Nice. And so let's talk about this tour, the Secret Foods tour, right? Yeah. I did some reading on it, and it seems this is a tour company that originates in Europe.
That's correct.
And from what I saw, while there's this New York component, the primary email is in the UK. And I also read that there's one in Paris. So let's talk a little bit about its origins and how it's started here, or how it kind of seeped into New York, and then we'll talk about why you chose Greenwich Village.
Absolutely. It was started a couple of years back by these two guys, young guys, Ali and Nico. It started in Paris first and then spread to London and through other cities throughout Europe. And then they decided to expand into South America and North America. And before New York, they were in New Orleans, San Francisco, and now we're going to be in Chicago and Boston as well. So and they're planning eventually to be worldwide. So it's really exciting to be on the ground floor here in New York.
So how long has it been in existence here in New York?
2 months.
2 months.
Yes,
wow, all
we're
right.
babies.
You're getting her fresh. Woo, so this is great because I love the concept.
Thank you.
And okay, so how do you qualify people and how did Greenwich Village become the place of choice?
Great question. Greenwich Village is just a quintessential New York neighborhood. It's featured in a lot of TV and movies, and it's got great food. And so we thought that would be a great place to start. We're actually eventually going to open other tours. Our next one we're thinking about is East Harlem and other places as well. But this was our jumping off point here in the Village.
And so, but what is it about the Village that I guess enrolled people into choosing it? Because not only do you do taste testing, you go through the history of the area. And since you were referencing your family originated from 1653, that's a lot of history.
It sure is. It sure is. And because the Village goes back to 1629, people first being there, and all the history that has happened since then, the counterculture movement, so many secret history of Washington Square Park that a lot of people don't know. All of those components made it the perfect choice to start our tours in New York City.
And I always thought that Washington Square Park kind of reminds me a little bit of Paris, right? Like,
yeah, with the arch, absolutely.
Yes.
A lot of people see that reference when they go into the park.
So I could see why the gentleman from France chose Greenwich Village. Makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. So give us a little insight on what to expect on a tour.
Okay, so we have 6 food tastings, and we go through the Village, and as we're walking through the Village, we stop and we talk about things that some people may not be familiar with, these places that people have seen all the time, but may not be familiar with what they're about. And then afterward, we try quintessential New York foods, and we tell history of the food. Even there's a secret history to food, who knew? And all of that together makes the tour.
Nice. So where can people make reservations?
They can go to secretfoodtours.com, and then they can look for the link for New York, and then we tell the story of the New York tour, and then they can book right there.
Lovely. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh my goodness, my pleasure.
Sharing with our viewers.
Thank you
and
so
you
much.
guys, this sounds so exciting. I mean, this is something I so suggest you take advantage of. I mean, who doesn't like to go and eat secretly? All right, once again, for more on Secret Food Tours New York, be sure to visit secretfoodtours.com/New-York. And that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. And if you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rena Valentine, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.
Hi, I'm David Lesh, legal correspondent to the morning show Open. If you have a legal question that you'd like me to answer, please send me an email at davidlesh@bronxnet.org, and I will address it on our Ask Your Lawyer segment.
If you want to stay in the know about the latest happenings en español, check out Diálogo Abierto, BronxNet's own Spanish show, Wednesdays 6:30 p.m. on Channel 67. The latest in news, arts, culture, politics, and what's going on in your neighborhood. Diálogo Abierto, the best way to stay connected in Spanish. See you there. Te esperamos.